Hey everyone, Michael Anthony here. Van Halen, Chickenfoot, Sammy in the Circle. But anyway, you're listening to the only podcast that is dedicated to breaking down the entire Van Halen catalog one track at a time. And the podcast will rock. Ow!
Hello, baby!
Welcome, all you rockers, rockettes, and everything in between. Yes, that's right. You have joined us for a live edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. Man, if you are here with us live, then you already know how this goes. But I'll tell you, just in case you're a newbie, we are the show that dives into the catalog and discography of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, Van Halen. We do it one track at a time. I am your co-host, Mark Kamara. Joining me, as always, Corey Morissette. Corey, how you feeling tonight, man? 1 year. We've been doing this for 1 year.
I can't believe it, Mark. Like I said, I thought for sure you would have ditched me by now, probably about 3 weeks in. But yeah, we're still here 1 year later, 50 tracks in. Tonight we're going to be spinning the wheel for tracks 51 and 52. And what I can't believe is all the amazing people that have kind of joined us on this journey, either just listening to the show and commenting along with us, who we're hopefully going to be hearing from tonight, like our good friend Tom Armbruster. Let's bring him in there. See, he doesn't feel tardy. Chaz, he says sit down, Waldo. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of comments from our regulars here tonight. I can't wait for all that, and we've got some special guests. Mark, maybe let's start introducing them and bringing them on the stream.
Yes, we'll do that. But I love how Corey insists that it was going to be me that ditches him, considering only one of us has about 1,000 different podcasts that he does already on top of this one. So we'll just leave it at that. But yes, as you say, we've got guests. We have some regulars. We have actually some of our more well-known regulars joining us on the show today. So I'm not going to introduce them in terms of how much I enjoy them versus how little I enjoy them, because that's just not the case. I love them all equally. That's right. I love you all equally. Thank you for being on the show. So introducing first, I'll just go ahead and say it. Right from the Tom Petty Project, you know him, Kevin Brown is with us. Bring in Kevin Brown. How you doing, Kevin? From Van Halen News Desk, the guy that really kind of helped put us on the charts, as it were. I think it's safe to say that. Eric Senich is joined us with the show, the fan favorite, as always. No offense to Eric, no offense to Kevin, but it's Kelsey Van Halen joining us. Kelsey, the fan favorite, as always. Yes, thank you so much. And of course, not to be outdone, journalist and author Heath Murphy. I think it's Murphy, right? It's McCoy. It's not Murphy at all. Heath Murphy is a guy I used to know back in high school. That is just not even remotely.
And we are off to a flying start.
You both have the Irish stuff going on. They're both Irish names. There you go.
And I tell you what, Mark, I sent out a ton of invites, so we're going to have people dropping in throughout the night. And we got one here now from the Magicians Podcast, the Uriah Heep Show, and now permanent co-host on Backtrack's Aerosmith Revisited, Scott Haskins is dropping by.
Hey! Nice. What's up, Scott?
What's up?
All right.
So this is the crew for now. We're supposed to have one more. Greg Renoff, unfortunately, has the flu. He isn't feeling well enough to join us here tonight. But Eric, you're a little under the weather, too.
Yeah, I got the COVID. COVID. Wednesday. Tested positive for it. I have been stuck in my apartment since Wednesday afternoon.
Oh,
yeah. So here I am, man. I'm here. What's up, Greg? Renoff? Where are you?
It is a tradition. I mentioned it off camera, but I mentioned it is kind of a tradition for COVID positive people to record on the show, including Corey and myself, and now Eric. So,
well, I signed the contract. I have to be here. And I did say to Corey and Mark, I could get you guys some serious ratings. I may pass away in the middle of this show. This is
So stay tuned for that.
So
That's
stick around.
It may be the most rockin' show we ever do, but here's hoping. But let's not dwell on death and despair, because this is a show for celebration. As I said, we've been doing this 1 year, so this is our 1 year sort of anniversary party, as it were. And we're gonna give you the show that you know and love so much. We're gonna do it live. So that being said, if you've listened to us whatsoever in any capacity, you know this shit can go off the rails real fast. And that is when we've recorded and edited. So who knows what's going to happen tonight? I am looking forward to it. Corey, as the editor, are you looking forward to just absolute mayhem?
Well, I don't have to edit anything. This is going to be great. We can just drop these as podcasts tomorrow after the fact and be done with it. I don't have to cut out all my stupid bullshit. So I'm just going to be really quiet, and we're going to let all the very smart people who are on the panel here tonight do the talking for me, because we got some real beauties on here. I know, Kelsey, you mentioned everybody's absolute favorite. The world fell in love with Kelsey. Eric is now the resident Van Halen expert because Greg couldn't make it because he had the sniffle. And
because we have now an expert in Van Halen, that legitimizes this podcast. So all of you guys waiting to chime in the comments, ready to tell us how much we suck, well, that may be, but at least we got an expert on our hands. So
that's right.
And you got somebody with a Van Halen bar stool behind you too.
Yeah, you guys at home don't have that.
Take that, trolls.
Yeah.
Pig fuckers.
So it begins.
It already begins. But how are each and every one of you? Thank you for joining us for this live show. We know how Eric is. He's holding strong, and we appreciate you. Kevin Brown, how you doing, man?
I'm drinking great beer. I'm happy to be here, and it's great to actually meet some people who I've only heard on my headset so far. It's awesome.
Nice.
Well, I already met Eric, though, and Eric is a fantastic conversationalist, so I'm really looking forward to this.
Top Betty, man. Yeah.
Heath McCoy, how you feeling? And I'm sorry that I did not get your last name correctly. That was really dumb.
Is it because of the Dave Sammy thing? Is that why?
Subconsciously, I think it might be. Yeah,
I think so.
I'm not going to say no.
I consider that a microaggression, man. I'm doing good. I'm real happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, of course. Fan favorite Kelsey. Kelsey, thank you so much for being here. How are you feeling? And are you ready to rock?
I'm always ready to rock. Yeah. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. As always, I love being here, and I'm excited to be here with everyone. So,
right, the center square.
That's right.
Hollywood Squares.
I'll try to do it justice.
Which one is our Paul Lynde then?
I
mean, that's either really funny or problematic. So I guess that's me. I'll be him.
I hear Jim J. Bullock is going to be here in a second too.
Oh, that's Kevin Brown.
Jim J. Bullock.
I don't get any of these references.
That's what I was thinking. The old timers, you know.
The old timers and Mark, the mid timer. It's fine. We'll explain it.
Hey,
we'll have Scott Haskins explain it to you. Scott, how you feeling, man?
Well, I could be your Paul Lynde.
Yes.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I got to say, because a lot of you guys may not know this, but for one, I get to hang out with Corey all the time now, which is fantastic, doing the Backtracks Aerosmith show. But Mr. Mark Kamier is quite a vocalist. You've got a lot of talent, my friend.
Me? Oh, go on. I try.
Yeah.
I try really hard.
You just posted a video a couple of days ago, didn't you, Mark?
I did. We just had the Halloween bash on Halloween night over at in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Exit Inn. A group of people put that show together, and I'm lucky enough to have performed at it. Sadly, that might be the last time I ever perform on that stage, as the Exit Inn is on its way out, because apparently, instead of having traditional classic music venues in a town called Music City, it's more prudent to put up condos and apartments and just tear them all down, because that's what's important. We have to bring in tourists, the tourists that want to come tour the city and see live music, maybe. I don't know. It's a sore subject, and we're very disappointed. So that's the bittersweetness of it all. But I got to be on a stage that has been shared by many a great artist, and I'm taking it in stride. At least I'm trying to. So yes.
Cool.
Excellent. Tell you what, we've already got some comments coming in, Mark. If you want to read these out, here's
okay. From Scott Monroe. Good evening from Maine. It weirdly got above 70 degrees today, and I could barely see the road from the heat coming off. I see what you did there.
I understand that reference. Yeah.
I don't think it gets that warm in Maine. I could be wrong, but I don't know. It seems that doesn't seem right. But I'll take your word for it, Scott.
I'm not in favor of this one at all. See Eric saying, love the show. Can't wait to break down Pleasure Dome. You get that evil out of here.
Don't even speak it. Do not even speak it.
It might have been a jinx, but I'm here for it.
Everybody's loving Kelsey in the center square. I'll take Kevin Brown to block.
Thank you all for being in the chat and contributing some comments. Share the link around. Get all your friends that are into rock music and Van Halen specifically. Be like, come look at these bunch of fools joined by some really cool people talk about Van Halen. Just wait till they spin the wheel. But before we get to that, Corey, we always like to discuss some Van Halen news. So honestly, I'm asking you because you're good about bringing it to me, but instead, I think I'm gonna go over to Eric from Van Halen News. Hey, Eric, while you're riddled with the COVID, I have to ask, what's going down in Van Halen News these days?
Yeah, I mean, I've been rattling off article after article because I've been just hanging out, and anything that I see that comes up, I just pop it up there. So you're gonna see my name there a few times. Actually, we just put up Rick Beato. Do you guys know Rick Beato? He's
not personally.
He's on YouTube. He's got like 1 million+ subscribers on YouTube. So he just posted a video. He's got quite a few on Van Halen where he breaks down their songs. The one he just put up, he's just asking what is Van Halen's greatest song, which is the timing of it is interesting because this show is all about Van Halen songs. And I wrote in the lead, not even Tom Cruise can make this mission possible. There are so many songs that you can pick, but that's interesting. People are putting in their votes for songs there. The big one this week, though, is Sammy is still trying, man. He's trying to make peace with Alex. He told Eddie Trunk that he has reached out to Alex about a handful of times since Eddie passed. And Alex is just not responding. And Sammy's just not, he's not sure why. He believes it's his book, the book Red. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason. But we don't know why. Alex is just doesn't want to talk to him. And so Sammy is still telling that story of how he wants to at least make peace with Al. I think the book was a big issue. I mean, there was some stuff in there that it was. I mean, Eddie wasn't happy, I'm sure, but Sammy says he made peace with Ed, and I don't know. But anyway, you could read that article there. What else? Not much. Oh well, you guys mentioned a couple things. It was it a week ago in 1996 that the Best of Volume 1 came out. So I just put up a poll there. The two new songs that they made with Dave, Me Was Magic, Can't Get This Stuff No More, and it wasn't even close. People, Me Was Magic got the majority of the votes. I think we got, even as of now, it's close to 3,000 votes. And Me Was Magic got over 2,100, and Can't Get This Stuff No More got 800 and just under 830, which tells you.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a new Sammy podcast, The Bogus Otis Show, which is cool. So, but that's been pretty much it. Like I said, the big story was Sammy. I don't know. What do you guys think, man? You think Alex should just say what's up to him?
I think sometimes I feel like Alex is, how he is like the Malcolm Young of Van Halen. Like you had the two stars always, but then you always heard that Malcolm was the guy behind the scenes that really ran the show. sometimes I wonder if that's Alex. You know, everything locked down as it is, and how that they don't honor the legacy as much as they should. Sometimes I wonder if that's all, you know, Alex.
Well, yeah. I mean, Wolfgang has said that as far as any tribute goes, he's leaving it to his Uncle Al to do what he wants to do with it.
Well, Scott says maybe I'll come with Sammy in a dream too. Who knows?
Well, that's the other thing. You know, it's interesting because Sammy says things that are often disputed, or you know, they're fact checked by some. And Jesse Harms played on a lot of Sammy's albums. Jesse Harms was on VOA. That's the album with I Can't Drive 55, and then Sammy got the Van Halen gig, and in the book Red, Sammy says that he paid all of his band members, you know, because he felt bad, you know. And Jesse Harms said, and it's in the article, you can read it on VHND, that Jesse's like, I don't know what he's talking about. He never paid us. You know, I mean, he said Sammy was, you know, we're cool. I mean, he said Sammy let him use his house. While Sam went out to LA to work with Van Halen and stuff like that. But that happens a lot with Sammy. The funny thing is the years, when he's off on years, you know, in concert. It's so funny. You know, like
I think he's off on album sales sometimes too.
1995.
You got to think though, when you read that book though, when you read Red, like he didn't so much stab him in the back, he stabbed him in the front. Like there was he didn't disguise kind of, you know, he really kind of put it all out there. So I could totally see if some of it wasn't entirely accurate, or even if it was, that, you know, Alex there might be a little bit pissed off about that and be a bit reticent to get in touch. I understand that, you know, and I'm a Sammy guy, right? So,
well, yeah, it's not about, I mean, look, I'm a fan of Sam and Dave, man. I mean, this is big business stuff. And when you're writing a book, you know that Sammy was told, look, you know, I wonder if Sammy would have written the book if that stuff didn't go down, because that's the kind of stuff that sells books. And when you're writing those books, that's what the publishers want. They got to have something that they can sell the book on. Now, if none of those chapters on Ed and all that ugly stuff that was in there is not in that book sells maybe half of the copies that it ended up selling. So, you know, Sammy did what he did. It's a decision he made. Yeah, I know he's said in the last year or so that he's had second thoughts about it. I don't get the sense that he would have. I don't think he's apologized. I mean, I think he's just that's my version of what happened, and I'm going to put it out there. Usually, that's the kind of stuff that a guy would write at the end of his career when he's not worried about burning bridges. I mean, apparently at that point, he just figured, I'm not coming back to the band, so, you know, fuck it. I'm putting it in there. And he was hurt by some of the things that happened, but Ed was going through a rough time. I mean, when you're going through a rough period like that, if there was addiction issues there and all that, you know, I don't know. Look, it's not something I would put in a book, but he did it. And if that's why Al's pissed, he's got to, he made that bet. He's got to lie in it. I mean, unless he apologizes and says, look, man, I'm sorry. But he doesn't know why Al's pissed. He said, but then the other problem is he doesn't make it any better when he says, I don't know, Al's got a stick up his ass. That's not going to help.
No.
You know?
No, yeah. Stick up his ass maybe is like, or, you know, he's in mourning still. And
right.
But you got to say, Matthew Perry can tell you got to say something to get your book sold, even if it's saying some outlandish shit.
Right.
Mark, didn't you take a dig at that douche on
I have taken so many digs at and I mean there was a time where I thought maybe Matthew Perry was an okay dude, and now I'm just like, no, this is you got a lot of issues, dude, and I get it. You got to sell a book, but get out of here with that shit, man.
He forced Valerie to address an issue.
Yeah. So
it's like, you know, do we need to know that shit? It is what it is.
Tom is wondering something here. Maybe Eric can intelligently speculate, but he says, makes me wonder if some of the bad mouthing of Mike in Eruption was put there on purpose.
The bad mouthing of Mike in Eruption, the book?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
We're talking about this one, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
that's the one.
Which, by the way, you can purchase at the Van Halen store. Just saying.
Signed by the author, I believe.
Yeah, I interviewed these guys, man. They're so cool. Brad Talinsky and Chris Gill. It's an outstanding book. But yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Ed had some things to say about Mike that's still just confounding me. Nobody really knows still to this day why he wanted Mike out, like as far back as like 80 or 81. Like Billy Sheehan is on the record saying, yeah, Ed gave me his phone number. Said, don't, hey.
He took shots at Mike that were beyond the pale, too. Like,
it's odd. But
reading somewhere where he said, basically he said Mike couldn't play. And
right.
He wrote all his bass lines and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike can play. Come on, and even his voice. Everyone praises Mike for his voice and being, the background voice of Van Halen. And he said he's just, what did he call him, a foghorn or something like that? And he has no. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He took some.
He said like, oh, I could never hear him anyway. I remember him like saying something like that in the book, and I literally was like, very surprised with like the stuff he had to say about him. I was like, I didn't think Eddie would say this like about someone in the band, but you never know.
Nobody seems to understand why. And Mike's not going to talk about it. Even Mike said it. If he writes a book, you're not going to read any of that stuff. So Mike takes the high road on that. And yeah, it's weird. We just don't know why. And it's too bad because, for the longest time, for us guys who are older, I've been following the band since, 84, 85. And, when during the Sammy years, it just seemed like they were just best buds. I mean, at least that was the image that was put out there. And I think it was legit for a while. I mean, Sam and Ed were neighbors. And they were, and Sam has even said, Ed was just the sweetest guy. And so even he had to understand. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that Ed said was just when he was in a real bad place. Look, I've been in places in my life where I'm just not doing good, pissed off at the world, and suddenly I just I find myself having more negative thoughts about people around me and things around me because I'm not happy, and then when you get yourself in a better place, you're seeing the better and the best in everybody else and other things. So, I mean, we're all human. I don't, it's, and Ed's gone. So what is, what can you say? And again, this is like big business stuff and there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we'll never know about. But, from Ed's point of view, I think it was, Mike had a fourth of the publishing, and that after a while just kind of got on his nerves, They contended that Mike didn't make writing contributions. Yeah, Jazz, you're right. So, I think, and then they it was for 1984. They decided that Mike's not going to get any of the publishing anymore. I can't recall the specifics. But when Mike came back in 2004 for the Sammy reunion, he had to take a huge cut in order to be on that tour. That's the one when Sammy came back. And look, Mike never contributed to the songwriting, but it's fair to say that. I know what he contributed, the vocals. I mean, that's part of the magic of Van Halen. So,
well, and the stage show too. I mean, anyone who's seen Van Halen live, Mike Anthony's a huge part of that. His energy, his, just the presence on stage. It's a huge part of that band.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I know John Fogerty talked about this. Multiple times in interviews where in the early days of Creedence Clearwater Revival, he's writing all the music, but his intent was, look, I'm going to give you guys equal money on this, and because I want everybody to get along. And usually in the beginning, that's that thought, like all for one, one for all. But then as time goes on, there are going to be people who are like, hey man, I'm in this fucking studio for 3 straight days writing music. And so-and-so is off, just doing whatever. I mean, that's not Mike's fault. Michael Anthony is just, look, it is what it is. But, and even, I don't think Michael Anthony would have at any time said, look, if that's what you want, man, that's cool. You could, split it up differently. I don't know.
Now, Scott, you follow a lot of bands. You live in Las Vegas. This is completely unique to Van Halen, right? No other band ever has infighting.
Oh, never. No, and all the bands just say, we'll split the publishing evenly, and it's never going to change. And I mean, you look at what the Beatles did, and the Beatles were Lennon and McCartney. Oh, Harrison. And then there's that one Ringo song on every album. It's a tough thing because I always say that regardless of who wrote the basic tracks of the song, everybody puts their stamp on it when they record it. Even if they go to him and say, here's how we like the bass line to go, or here's what we want the drums to do, everybody puts their own unique stamp on it. And I feel that everybody should have a part of it, whether they want to split out the percentages differently than, maybe not evenly, but everybody's a part of every song that gets recorded. It's just that way.
Yeah. I just saw the interview with Bono on Stephen Colbert. And there's a band who's from day one. They're still together. Nobody's ever left. It's that's rare. That's rare.
Super rare. Yeah.
And they're all still kicking, which is even more rare for a rock band with such longevity. So
knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Kudos, man. I mean, look, Bono's had some close calls, that's for sure, with like his injuries off, outside of the band, but still, that man's gonna be like Keith Keith Richards, just gonna live forever for the nuclear holocaust, and it'll be.
I thought you were gonna say Heath Murphy.
We don't know what happened to Heath Murphy, long gone. But Corey, though, should we? I don't know if we should do it because we have a poll that we could talk about, but a lot of the comments come from the very people in this room. So I don't know if it's prudent for us to read them. Or if we just ask them point blank, like,
are we just living in a vacuum here?
Well, you tell you what, I'll give you the poll results, and we talk to everybody about what their thoughts on All Mine were. But for the poll results, 78.2% what dreams are made of, 21.8% this dream is over. So I'm surprised. I was expecting into the 80s for positive, so it kind of surprised me a little bit.
So, which one of you did it?
And those are badass lyrics from Sammy, okay?
Yes, they are. Yep.
There it is. That's Eric Senich saying it.
Lyrics, okay? Yeah. Straight up, man. Those are some good lyrics.
They are. Yeah. But they're so goddamn earnest. I feel like we're talking about Bono. I think he's trying to be Bono in that song.
A year after the Joshua Tree album out, right?
There are worse people to be.
This is true. When we did the Stay Frosty episode, we talked about that was Dave's take on religion almost, right? Lots of religion in there.
Yeah,
this was Sammy's take on religion. And I kind of felt like you get such a capsule of their different styles there. With David's all tongue-in-cheek, and you're like, what is he on about? And you got to think about it a little bit, and it's witty, and it's funny, and weird. And then Sammy's was just very straightforward. You know exactly what he was talking about. There was some killer lines in that song, though, for sure. I gave it a Dreams Are Made Of, but barely.
Yeah, I was about to note you did vote upwards, but only by a hair. But I'm curious though. Let's see, Kelsey, what do you think of Mine All Mine?
Well, it's not one of my favorites on that album. I definitely think there's better ones, but I agree. I like Sammy's lyrics, and but yeah, I wouldn't say it's like if I was going to talk about that album, I wouldn't talk about that song, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
It's fair. Also, whose point of view I don't think we got. Scott Haskins, do you have any thoughts on Mine Oh Mine?
Yeah, I think it was one of the songs that if there had been a third option, I would have gone for it. And this is, again, coming from the most medium Van Halen fan who probably belongs in the bottom center square. It was an okay song. It was one that I didn't dislike it, but it didn't particularly strike me as one I would think, I really want to hear the song again. I kind of feel like I experienced it.
And that's fair. There are a lot of those we have found going through this journey, at least for me, where I thought, oh, this will be an easy win. But it's like, no, these were not easy wins, and some of them weren't wins at all. So I definitely understand you in that. But someone who said they had so much to say about this song was Kevin Brown. Yeah, you're grinning. What more could you possibly add to what you already did on Twitter?
Well, I won't go into it too deeply, but there is definitely sort of a fairly deep ontological discussion that Sammy's having in that, which is super interesting. If you're into sort of theology and religion, it's very, very interesting the way he's written that. Oh, yeah. But what I was going to say is I think one of the things about that song that I always liked right away is OU812 gets some stick because of the keyboards, and they went really heavily into that. That's the one song of that album I think balances the keyboards against the guitars best. It's one where it fits really well, and they've used them really tastefully rather than it being, too much or too little. So that I always love that song. It's one of the first albums that I got into with Van Halen, and so it's got a special place in my heart. So
they played that on the Balance tour. Mine, all mine.
Cool.
And it's cool.
Well, there
and in the back on the big screen, you see this dude surfing.
Hell yeah. It's very Sammy.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that alone should get you guys to be buying up all the tickets for a Sammy show, because you get to see surfing on a screen. I don't want to see that. I do. I want to see that while he's blaring "I Can't Drive 55" in my face. But that's just me. You guys know I'm pro Sammy.
Well, I know we don't have to ask Eric. I know he voted. This stream's over. He has on every single Van Halen song we've done.
There's not is there a single song you would ever downvote?
Let me think now.
He did admit he would have downvoted How Many Say I?
Yeah, I downvoted it. Yeah, I did. I did. I mean, Pleasure Dome. But to each his own, man. Funny. I remember back when that album came out, my brother's girlfriend was playing it in her car, and she goes, "I love this song." But that seemed like a song that was an instrumental that it just didn't feel the Sammy's lyrics just didn't vibe with it.
Yeah, a little better as a drum solo.
But having said that, I could sit and I can listen to it. It's not like I'm skipping over it. So I'm trying to think.
Now, when you had a girlfriend in the car, when you had a girlfriend in the car and she said she liked Pleasure Dome, you made her walk the rest of the way home, right?
Get out.
By the way, I jumped on Twitter and I supported Corey with the what was the Dave lyric. Night and shining pickup truck.
Night and shining pickup.
Banger.
I said, Corey, you can be my knight and shining pickup truck anytime. People were like, what the fuck's going on with that? There are songs that I will skip over only because I've heard them a zillion times, and working in radio, I played them. Running with the Devil is just a brilliant song, but I played it every night on the radio. So I would skip it. Like Van Halen 2, I love, because a lot of those songs, with the exception of Dance the Night Away, it got a lot of airplay. However, I love that song. So there's certain songs that you hear a lot that you never get burned out on. But I am. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to hate on Van Halen.
That's the book you want to join.
But no, there are songs I'm burned out on. I'll put it that way. All right, you got two. You got How Many Say I, and you got Pleasure Dome. All right.
I can add. I've got one. Ooh, 1 foot out the door, right there.
Wow.
Take that one out.
Out the door.
I've listened to Fair Warning a lot. To be fair, like that's my favorite album. But like that song, I'm like, oh my god, everything else is so good on this album.
Kelsey on that one too.
All right, I love that song.
It just doesn't fit in with the album. That's it. But whatever.
One of their biggest hits, Pretty Woman. I don't like Pretty Woman.
Wow.
I just don't like the song. I mean,
I think Eddie's tone on that though is magnificent. His tone on it, he did it perfectly.
But on the reverse,
spanked.
Entirely the line, and rightly so. And rightly so.
Yeah. On the other end of it is, I love Dancing in the Streets. Their version, and a lot of people don't like it.
On the flip, yeah, I don't like Dancing in the Streets, but I like.
Oh, it's a banger.
That's one of the few Dave songs I'd vote down, probably, because Dancing in the Streets. I don't like what they.
Not surprised. Yeah, most people do.
Even Alex and Eddie were like, we can't Van Halenize this. Like when they're doing that when David Lee Roth first pitched Dancing in the Streets, right? Yeah. We don't know what to do with this. So they compromised and did Pretty Women. And eventually, when they had to fill songs for Diver Down, they said, okay, well,
their version's the only one I can listen to, but that's just me.
Me too.
You know what? The Mick Jagger, David Bowie version?
Oh, I love that one too.
That video.
I went as
when I came on the show last time.
My friend and I went as Mick Jagger and David Bowie one Halloween, and from that video, I had like the lab coat and everything.
That video is neck and neck with the Billy Squire prancing around in the pink tank. Right there.
I like the shredded version of that song, and if you don't know what that is, just YouTube. The
what version?
Shredded with David Bowie and Mick Jagger.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you. I'm glad someone knew what I was talking about. Yeah, just look that up, you guys, and enjoy if you didn't know what that was, and enjoy the rabbit hole you will go down.
Oh boy,
that one. With that being said, oh man, well, I mean, that's fair. I mean, look, that song's not going to be everyone's favorite. Fine, you know.
I'd rather hear Kelsey sing it than.
Hey,
there we go.
Hey.
Speaking of music, Mark, we're what 36 minutes into a live show.
I was gonna say.
Yes, and look at this round table that we've assembled. So
look of course, what I brought.
It was going to. And there it is.
All right.
All right. So
the wheel isn't real. The wheel isn't real.
It's all an illusion. But no, there is the infamous wheel. We bring it up all the time because still people think that we're full of shit. But there it is. It's right before your eyes. We would spin it.
Look at that sucker.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone can see on the practice spin tonight, we spun Unchained, which would have been perfect.
I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna if we don't spin it again tonight, that will be very sad. And it's aha, yes, it does exist. You're right. It is. So suck it, Santa Claus. This is real, and you're not. But
why is every other song Pleasure Dome?
Who did that? Put that in there. It's weird.
I need help when we do Pleasure Dome. I need help, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people on here. We got enough hands, I think, to cover Pleasure Dome. But Mark, let's do some manifestations. One of the 7 of us should call their shot here tonight, right?
Well, chances are one of us is going to call their shot.
Look what you did to poor Tom.
Well, Tom. Santa's real in your heart, and that's the important.
Shut up, Alan. We're not doing Pleasure Dome.
We might, Alan. We might. If the wheel is wants us to have a very entertaining show, because I certainly do. But before we get into the spinning, we have to ask, because we do it every time. It's time to manifest. This is a live show. We all want to hear something in particular. I would imagine so. So I want to hear it. We're going to start with Scott Haskins. Scott, you're here with us. We appreciate you. What song on this particular spin, this first spin, mind you, do you want to manifest and bring forth that you just really want to talk about?
You know, again, the most medium Van Halen fan, I don't know that many of their songs. So I think I'm up for anything.
Up for breakfast, you said?
Up for breakfast.
We're on that one.
We already did it. Damn.
Oh.
I don't want to hear that either.
And I don't think I'm going to win.
There you go. That's
I'm good with anything that we pick, especially Pleasure Dome. I kind of feel challenged now.
All right. Scott takes the coward's way out. How about Heath McCoy? What do you want to hear?
Same as last time. There's been hardly any, I think only one Diver Down spin. And it's such an underrated record. I would love to hear Diver Down. And if I picked one, it'd be Full Bug. Because for all their deep cuts, I think that's like one of their best songs. I love it. And I would dig Big Bad Bill because I think that'd be fun. But Full Bug.
That's a good one. And everybody watching right now, give us your choices. What do you want to hear tonight? Chaz already chimed in. A little loss of control.
Yeah.
I'd be on board for that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kelsey, do you have a particular one you'd love to hear tonight?
Is this all the stuff we haven't done yet? This whole wheel?
Correct.
Okay, I would definitely love to hear Pound Cake. I could go off about that song. Girl Gone Bad, if you guys haven't done that yet. I love Girl Gone Bad. That's like one of Eddie's best performances in my opinion. I could go off about that song too. So those are my two.
So there you have it. We are manifesting a fuck song.
Full bug, I would say as well.
Full bug, little guitars, maybe.
Oh, little guitars, yeah,
that'd be awesome.
We'll get the intro too if we spin that one. So
yeah. So Eric, do you have one? And you can't say any of them. Like I'm gonna challenge you to go ahead and Scott gets a pass, but you don't. What do you want to manifest tonight? Are you going to call your shot?
Well, as you know, I did call my shot on this program, and now that it's video, we're going to have to reveal the secret. What I do when I manifest is I wear these glasses, right? And I do take a sip out of my Van Halen mug, which, by the way, you can purchase at Van Halen store. That's vanhalenstore.com for all your Van Halen needs.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, dance the night away.
Yeah.
Put it down in the books. Put it down in the books. There you go. I'm not taking these off until that song is shot.
You heard it right here. He's calling his shot. He is pointing outwards. He is looking for a dance the night away. However, he might be thwarted because Kevin Brown's going to shoot his shot. Kevin, what song do you want to hear?
If we're just doing the first spin, 5150, baby. I called it last time. I want to hear it again tonight. It's one of my favorite songs, not just Van Halen, one of my favorite songs of all time. So
I feel the confident energy from everyone tonight. So I think we're going to get probably at least one of those that they guess, unless someone throws in a curveball, which I think my partner Corey Morissette might do. What are you manifesting, Corey?
Well, first of all, both Kelsey and Kevin stole my answers because I thought for the live show, we want to do a huge song. The two songs I think that were most requested or most anticipated on the show are Pound Cake and 5150. So I'd really love to get one of those. Let's go through some of the listeners right now. Alan wants to hear Where Have All the Good Times Gone from Diver Down. I think that would be an awesome choice.
Yep.
We have I'm the One.
Nice.
Right? I'm the One. I think would be perfect. Everyone's loving Kevin. Look at that. Yeah, Kevin. See, everyone loves 5150. Nice. Kevin is not wrong. That's the first time he's ever heard that. And then Tom, 5150 is the tour shirt with the Boys in Straight Jackets. That's absolutely right. Oh, yeah. So I'll kind of put a chip on each one of those because I'd love to hear those. But I've been calling for this one for a while. I would love to hear about it later.
Yes.
Yes. None of those choices are bad at all. So it's kind of hard for me to. But honestly, look, one of my favorite Van Halen songs. My favorite we still haven't done, but one that I've been asking for a while because it just puts me in like the best mood. It puts me in the Van Halen mood. I really need to hear it. I really want to talk about Ain't Talking About Love. Absolutely just want to hear it. It might sound like an obvious choice, but sometimes the obvious answers are the right ones. So I wouldn't be mad about it. Wouldn't be mad about 5150 either, Pound Cake, any of them. I mean, anything from Diver Down because, we need to get on that. But it's not up to me. It's not up to Corey. It's not up to any of us. It's up to the fickle wheel. So we'll see how this first spin goes. Corey, when you are ready to prime this thing and get it going, it's time to listen to some Van Halen.
Kelsey, pick a number between 1 and 10.
Oh, no. 6.
Okay, that's how many times I'm going to shuffle it here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. 5. None of you can blame me for this. Disclaimer.
Right. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Now, this is interesting because they removed a different kind of truth from streaming services, but I'm pretty sure I still have Tattoo.
All right.
Did we ever figure out why they did that?
Yeah, that's a great thing to talk about. What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell are they doing? Spotify and Apple Music doesn't have it anymore.
What if you play it off of YouTube? Are you able to do that through this feed? You have to?
Yeah, but I do have...
Oh, will it get taken down, though? It wouldn't get taken down, would it?
Well, I'm hoping the whole feed doesn't get taken down at some point here.
Yeah, really.
We're going to be playing music, but we're going to be breaking in a lot, right? You guys will be waving. We're going to break in like we normally do. So, Tattoo, let's go around the horn. What are your feelings about this? This was the first single off A Different Kind of Truth in 2012, the big return of David Lee Roth and Van Halen. Let's start with Eric.
Tattoo, a really good third single. Shouldn't have been the first. One Fire should have been one. She's the Woman.
She's the Woman. Yep. And I would have put She's the Woman one.
Yeah, mid-tempo. Not sure why they decided it. I don't agree with the haters of the song. It's a cool tune. It's it was odd because after all these years, we're waiting for Dave to be on another Van Halen album, and this was the first single. Strange, but yeah, man, it's a cool tune. I just don't agree with the choice of single orders on that. I wouldn't have not released it as a single.
It's one of the songs from the 70s, right, that they reworked?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which kind of, you can sort of sense those almost, right? Those ones, they feel like early Van Halen riffs. You can really kind of hear it.
Kevin, any thoughts on this one?
It's one of the, again, it's sort of a middle Van Halen. It's not one that I listen to a ton, but I would never turn it off if it's on. It's okay, you know.
Fair enough. Heath, first impressions of this song. Do you have any?
I love it. I've always I don't understand all the hate this song gets. I mean, it's not even probably my top 5 on A Different Kind of Truth, but I really think it's a great song. Really great, clever lyrics, catchy chorus. I don't really understand because it got so much hate, and I don't really understand it. Never could understand it.
This should make for an interesting conversation.
The bar was set so high, the album that everybody was expecting.
Yeah.
Everybody was expecting this mind-blowing song.
Well, sure, and that can be. You kind of have to expect that from the super fans, especially like anticipating an album like that, a reunion, as it were. So yeah, I get it. Kelsey, do you have any first impression thoughts on Tattoo?
I'm gonna say basically the same thing I said earlier. There's other ones on the album that I would rather talk about, but I don't dislike it. I just don't really listen to it that often.
Remember when Star Wars came back, that last trilogy, the expectations were so high. Yeah. And I remember seeing that first one. Yeah, right. I remember seeing that first one. I'm like, that was freaking cool, man. I loved it. I'm a Star Wars fan, not a fanatic. But then I listen to all these podcasts of the fans. They're like, this is, what the hell are they doing? It's like,
good thing Sean Geek is not on the show right now. That would spin off into a tangent.
Where are those two knuckleheads? Why aren't they here?
Sean was doing something with family this weekend. He's going to try and hop on a little later, though.
Cool.
And Todd, he said he would be here, but hasn't shown up yet. Typical Todd fashion. He's fashionably late, but Tom hasn't warmed up to Tattoo yet. We'll see if his opinion changes after we spin it here tonight.
Yeah.
Chaz loves Tattoo. They played it in his band. That's awesome.
Nice.
Ray says, Different Kind of Truth is a terrific album. Great songs. Tattoo should not have been the single. There, we're all in agreement there. Mike enjoys Tattoos. Don't agree with the haters either. There you go.
Mike Green.
Mike Green says, it's really grown on me since Corey mentioned it. It's moving up on my faves. Good man. Yeah, mine too, actually. I love this record. So
there we go.
Can't believe they removed it.
Yeah.
I know. I was like heartbroken. I was like, wait, what? Because I love You and Your Blues. That's a great song.
It is a great song. Absolutely. Yeah.
And that one's gone.
And I've got this CD somewhere. I've been rummaging around in my garage trying to find it because I don't listen to CDs anymore. I got vinyl or I got streaming. So once I find it, we'll be able to cover the rest of A Different Kind of Truth. But Tattoo, I do have here. What do you say, Mark? Should we give it a listen?
We should. This is my. I have not listened to this song since it first came out, and I do not remember it at all. That should tell you how I felt about it at the time. But I'm actually looking forward to being either very pleasantly surprised or just very meh, as the haters might suggest. But I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, here we go. This is Tattoo from A Different Kind of Truth.
They want you to be sure you know what song you're listening to right off the bat.
Just in case you forgot.
In case you forgot, or in case you don't have like the cover near you or anything, or if it doesn't show up on your stereo or whatever you're listening to. Like, by the way, this song is Tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay. We got it.
Remember Clapton's "It's in the Way That You Use It"? Right away.
Yeah.
It's in the way that you use it. There we go. There are lyrics.
I think with that huge
one.
Well, we hope those are the correct lyrics.
First, one of the things I picked up on too is that fucking huge pick slide that Eddie does. Pick slides were so overdone in the hair metal days. Everyone was in him every verse and every chorus. But even he just makes that sound cool as well. It's insane. It's just so cool.
Look at this. Mike throwing shade at Mark off the bat. Really surprised Mark didn't pick something from Van Halen 3.
And who knows why?
I think I would have been happier if they would have played even like a video game sound or just something other than announcing the song would have been better. But I love how heavy it comes in after that. That's a really good full sound after that.
That is a good start. So I'm I'm pleasantly surprised, but I have to poke a little jab at the that little vocal intro. But that being said, at least the harmony is tight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, let's keep going.
So I think Heath, are you a drummer as well? I think there was someone else who's on the.
I'm a drummer.
Yeah. I don't know if you feel the same, but I always feel that Van Halen are at the best when Alex is really just sitting in the pocket. Yeah, he's just laying that big fat beat down, and he's not playing too much. He's not getting in the way because just lets those guitars ride over that backbeat. It just drips with like sleaze, right? So
absolutely,
it's groovy.
That Philly came into it with even. I was like, oh,
Alex is very groovy.
Yeah.
And lyrically, this is awesome. I got Elvis on my elbow when I flex. Elvis talks.
I think it's clever. It's so clever.
Mark, I'm sure you have thoughts.
I do, but I don't know how to express them. Well, yeah, all I was going to say is, I mean, you could probably cover that up pretty easily, but you do you. But we're not here to talk about the problematics of Elvis. It's fine. We'll move forward.
All right.
One of Dave's greatest quotes. If you want to make sense of my lyrics, you need a bong, a thesaurus, and a driver's side airbag.
Word.
Amen, brother.
I got hookah on the back of my leg. Ain't she hula when I walk? Sweet cherry red, sweet electric green.
I mean, why else would you get hula girls on your leg unless you actually want them to hula? Yeah, of course. That's obvious, Dave.
This is obviously older Dave because those legs aren't toned, right? There's a little jiggle to them to make him hula, right? So
I remember, an interview with Dave or something, because, obviously he did the ink tattoo thing. He had his own tattoo company for a while there. And, speaking cherry red, electric green, purple mountains, all that kind of stuff. Those are actually tattoo colors, I guess. Like he was actually really getting into tattoo culture then. He was incorporating that stuff.
Oh, yeah, he went all in on that.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, man. I remember the first time I saw that on his back, I thought that was photoshopped, I'm like, nah. And no, it wasn't photoshopped. Yeah.
So lyrically, Eric, this is all new, right? Because I think the 77 version was called Down in Flames. Is that correct?
Right. Down in Flames. Yeah, this is totally revamped lyrics.
Okay.
And this is Dave is just clever with his lyrics, man. Mousewife to momshell and the time it took to get that new tattoo. It's similar to what was the one you guys were talking about? By the time dreams come true, I'm no longer me. And it's just about people changing. And in this case, it's this shy housewife, and all of a sudden she's becoming a bombshell, getting a tattoo and letting loose. Whoever the husband is, look out.
I love that key change too. Like I said, when you go back and think about Van Halen, the way he was writing, because he was so clearly influenced by Billy Gibbons in a lot of ways with that, especially on the blues side. That key change is totally ZZ Top, right? Like it's legs, it's the same thing where he's just that big step up.
Yeah.
When people walked into Dave's tattoo shop, was there somebody there saying, "This is a tattoo shop"?
This is a tattoo shop. This is a tattoo shop. Like every time you open the door, it's like ding ding ding. This is a tattoo shop.
The Raw Show is one big ad for the tat cream. There you go.
Yeah.
If they would have kept the title Down in Flames and somebody would have said Down in Flames, that kind of would have been badass, right? To say that at the beginning of the song, especially if it was done with a little bit of an evil voice, but just, tattoo.
Tattoo.
All right, let's keep it rolling.
Up on mountains, majesty, you and talk to me, hey. Swap meet Sally, tramp stamp cat, mousewife to momshell in the time it took to get that new tattoo.
What's a mousewife?
Mousewife is a shy housewife.
Mousy wife.
Like a mousy housewife?
Yeah.
Perfect. I love that
Doesn't
lyric.
talk, doesn't say anything, doesn't want to cause me trouble.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden she gets a tattoo.
She gets a flaming
Fuck out of
dragon
my
all over
way.
her back,
I'm in
and she's
charge.
a momshell. Absolutely.
Right?
I see.
The whole reference to trap stamp, I have a question. Maybe did that originate with Wedding Crashers? That's the first time I ever heard about the trap stamp. You know the movie?
Oh no, that was long before that.
Oh, was it? Was it before?
Yeah, I think so.
That's the first time I ever heard of it.
It's kind of a, I don't know, maybe because I live in the South and tramp stamps are, well, they're everywhere. And so I guess I was just attuned to that particular lingo a little earlier than I probably should have been. So yeah, I can confirm that terminology was around before that movie.
So here's Tom saying Dave's cock of the walk attitude is all over the vocal, which is both good and bad. I think it's all good.
I think it's good.
I think it's all good too. Yeah,
At the
man.
moment, it's all good, but I understand where Tom might be coming from with this.
I don't want Dave any other way than just I'm the shit. Look out! Nobody's better than me. He's got the biggest ego in rock, and that's what I want. That's the way I like.
I don't want Dave singing When It's Love. I want Dave singing
Right.
Wife to Momshell.
He does have like just the cockiest strut. Just the head shaking back.
Eric, would you agree on his re-recordings though?
Horrible.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you cut out.
I'm sorry, I can't comment. No comment.
I won't answer that question.
No, I like them, but they're not. They listen. His voice is not what it was. It's I can't live in fantasy.
But the confidence hasn't gone away. I'm just saying.
But the confidence hasn't gone away. The character and his voice, and I got to tell you, the little things like when he did on "You Really Got Me," it's just the little things he does. This is why I love Dave. And he at the very end, he says, "Oh, you got me." And he just throws in those little things. He's got the sense of humor. He's got the style. It's him. So I can't. I'm not. Does it suck? I mean, I know, Mark, you don't like it at all. You're hearing like that it's weak, and he
just sounds tired. He just sounds tired, and it's like, did no one just tell him, "Hey, you don't have to. Just don't do that. Just don't. You're cool. It's fine."
Yeah,
No, go ahead, Heath.
Well, I agree. I'm the biggest Dave fan, but I don't see the point. Like, why come out with these songs, re-recordings of old Van Halen songs that are amazing? It's sort of versions that can't help be inferior. Not just because Dave can't do it as much vocally anymore, but also because who's gonna live up to the original Van Halen sound, especially this and the production of Ted Templeman. Even like how are he's gonna why do this? It just seems
my whole thing was, who is this for? Is he trying to prove something? Because if he is, I don't think he's doing it. And
that's the question everybody has.
Yeah, and so it's like I don't know who this is for exactly. Mm-hmm. So that's neither here nor there. That's a digression, but still.
Let's save some material for episode 2 because we're still on episode 1. Let's just go through some viewer comments here. Scott says, "I enjoy hearing Ed's backing vocals in this section." Absolutely, yeah. Chaz says that the trip stamp, I think he meant tramp stamp lyric, is hard to sing while playing. I imagine it would be, yeah. So, and Chaz, tasteless to call it Roth Lives or Roth Live and position it as Van Halen free. Yeah. And like you said, like it can't help but be inferior because it doesn't matter how good your band is. It's not Van fucking Halen.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's keep rolling.
Show me your dragon magic. So I don't buy your graphic. Best believe that needle hurt you. Best deceive these true colors that follow one of your false virtues.
Oh, come on, Mark. You gotta love it.
Honestly, I'm not laughing at the lyrics. I'm laughing at this sounds like Dave's audition to do movie trailer voiceovers. And I'd buy that for $1.
In a world where mousewife turns into momshell.
The needle won't hurt you. Best to see the true colors.
Remember, Mark, we talked about Dave in his wheelhouse. This is Dave's wheelhouse right here.
Absolutely.
Right? And he doesn't own a wheelhouse. It's all good. He can sing anything. He can sing the phone book, but Dave's in his wheelhouse here, and I think sounding pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that knee will hurt you. That needle hurts you. Huh? Needle?
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah. He slipped into Meatwise magic.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
Hey, I would be more than happy to get a Buddhist riff in my inner ear anytime. A Buddhist riff.
All right, here's a little more Diamond Dave for you.
To make you think, why is the crazy stuff we never said? Poetry in it, speaking Negro red, explode opaque, up on mountains, majesty. Show me you, I'll show you me. Swamp meat salad, shrimp Snapchat, mousewife to momshell in the time it took to get that new tattoo. Woo!
All right, Tom agrees. Dave's wheelhouse low and slow. Yeah, that sounds about right. Especially in 2012.
Yeah.
Listen to how he did Panama on the Tokyo Live record. Oh my God.
I'd rather not. I will say, I really like that line, though, that here's the secret to make you think, why is the crazy stuff we never say poetry and ink? That I like, because that's very true in a lot of...
Absolutely, yeah.
Mark, you're coming around, Mark.
Look, okay, that's fine. I'll take that because I've been very vocal in, going against Corey's whole notion of everything Dave says is absolute poetry. It's like,
I didn't say
not
everything.
You pretty much have said everything.
98%.
That's a lot. And I'll be the 2%, or I'll highlight the 2% that's not.
Dave never puts the cream in my coffee.
This isn't Dave cramming in the lyrics either.
No.
Yeah, he does that a lot, these days. And that's great lyrics, but then he tries to jam too much in. And it's sort of, it's clunky,
Mm-hmm.
Good word. Yeah.
Sexy dragon magic. So very autobiographic.
I know that when I'm going to go get a giant dragon tattoo on my back, I'm going to say to the artist, you know what? I want some of that sexy dragon magic. And if you don't give me sexy dragon magic, then I'm out of here.
Exactly.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
Dave said that. You got to know he actually said that.
But it always reminds me, though, the way he sings "Sexy Dragon." When he sings that, it just reminds me of John Lovitz in The Wedding Singer. It's got the same sort of.
Everybody.
It's so corny. I don't know. Just that one line, right?
I'm quitting the podcast. I can't go on. John fucking Lovitz, Kevin, really?
Hey, do not talk shit about John Lovitz.
Listen to the intonation.
Have you ever heard John Lovitz perform Rebel Yell? It's fucking great.
No.
I've never heard that. No, I got to check that out.
Look it up, you guys. It's great. He even dresses like Billy Idol. That's not great, but the singing is great.
All right. Tom says, I want to listen and watch the Tokyo show for the band, but don't want to hear Dave. Well, Dave does have some decent tracks on the like you listen to like Chinatown and stuff like that. He does that really good actually on the Tokyo Dome album. But yeah, the older stuff like Panama just does not age well. And then Chad says, these are great lyrics. Different Kind of Truth truly had some of his best work as a lyrical gangster.
Totally. I agree. When it comes to Tokyo Dome, it's a travesty that the only live album that ever came out with Dave is that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you go back to what they were doing during the Fair Warning tour, and I mean, it's mind blowing how great a live album could have been. Like, I think so.
You know, there was quite a conversation on our Twitter a couple of weeks ago where guys were saying like Dave was never a good live singer, and just from what I've seen, like I've never seen him live, unfortunately, when Dave was singing. But you look online, obviously there were times he was a great live singer.
Totally,
he was a great front man. That's what I would say for sure.
No, if you listen to the first Van Halen tour when they were opening for Sabbath, there, like he's killing it. Like he's and in the screams and everything. I mean, he's killing it on that. I think he gets lazy. I think he actually gets lazy. Didn't take care of his voice.
And drinks.
Yeah, drank his face off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, none of
I think that was No, you're okay. I just was gonna say I think that was mostly the issue. Is he drank a lot, like the U.S. festival. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the US festival, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is if he was relatively, but that's what I'm saying is like, that's what I think his biggest, like he had a great voice and he could use it. It's just when he wanted to. And like, if he drank too much. So
Scott, what is your take on David Lee Roth as a singer?
The live clips I've heard from him are not too bad. I've not seen that many. I think he has a good voice. I think that he was really in his wheelhouse with this band. I think this is the kind of stuff that he's suited to do. I don't know that I could hear him doing anything outside of this kind of music, but I like the way his voice sounds on this song. I think it's very strong.
Maybe missing some screams, though. The "Gotta Hold on Me" line really shows how Dave's early scream is missed.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that's.
Listen to Van Halen 1. He's screaming all over that thing.
Oh yeah.
But he lost the scream. That train whistle sort of scream he used to have. Like he hasn't had it for, God, I don't know how many years.
A little late enough, you start to hear it's not there as much. At the beginning of A Little Late Enough, he does it, and it's you're hearing it start to fall off. And then 94, Your Filthy Little Mouth. It was like a whole different singer.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like all of a sudden he just reached these different octaves, and that was bizarre. I mean, I remember seeing him live on that tour, and he looked different, sounded different. Just his whole aura had changed. Everything was different. But the high. So if you listen to Skyscraper, there, he's hitting the high notes, but he's at his peak, in my opinion, on Crazy from the Heat, the EP, and Eat 'Em and Smile.
Eat 'Em and Smile.
And Easy Street, to me, is hands down his best vocal performance of them all, I think.
Well, let's see if everyone agrees with this statement. Dave was fucking perfect for what this band was.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that could have taken his place? And the idea that Sammy, they had considered him to be the singer because things weren't working with Dave, struggling in the studio, et cetera, et cetera. We've heard the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sammy did not sound like the Sammy Hagar that we know in those days. When he was singing with Montrose, he was still finding his voice. You listen to his first 3 solo albums, it's not until, I'm trying to think, this one, Danger Zone, when he gets to, I'm trying to think which album where he starts to find it. The song Red is really like, that's the first time he finds his voice. Otherwise, he's still singing like he did in Montrose. So I don't think he would have worked at all on that first album. I think when he arrived in 1985, 86, perfect time.
And they Templeman talked about to Greg Renoff that he was going to get rid of Dave. Dave was struggling in the studio, but then he realized, he realized that Dave had this lyrical flair for one thing, but he also realized that his voice had so much personality, and that they could really make it happen and be perfect for the band.
Yep.
Yeah. Scott pointed out he has a few screams on A Different Kind of Truth, and I wonder if they were current day recorded or pulled from the vault.
Yeah, some people wondered about that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then Tom said, or the only thing he did that day. Maybe he could only muster one scream.
Well, he does manage in that album on Oh, not Honey Baby Sweetie Doll. Which is the one? As is. As is, he does it. As is, I think he gets close to that old Dave's scream. Yeah.
And then Ray says the 81 Oakland Coliseum show has Dave's voice spot on.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Seek that out.
Yeah. So were those shows never recorded, Eric? Like those early shows, they just never recorded any of those early shows with Dave?
No. I mean, those were those were just specifically filmed for the videos. In fact, some of Noel Monk, the band's manager, said some of what you see there was actually filmed during the rehearsals, where there was no live audience. But Michael Anthony said that they did. Did he say they recorded all those shows back in the day? I know in places like what's that venue in? Boy, I want to say Washington, but I know it's not that. Where they anybody that played there, they would record the whole show, and it would go up on the big screen. Maryland. Somebody help me here. I mean, Maryland. I'm thinking. Hold on, let me see. And all the bands that came through there, Largo, Maryland.
Okay.
Okay, those shows, yeah. So those are pro shot because the venue itself had them filmed. But anyway, yeah, that Oakland, I don't think the whole show exists. I think it was just for those songs.
There's got to be a lot of bootlegs out there, though, right?
Oh, thank you. Yes. Atlantic Capitol Center in Largo. That's, yeah. But Stay Frosty has a wicked scream towards the end. Yeah.
And Dave's voice was perfect for the albums he sang on. No one could do it like Dave, in my opinion. I agree with Mike there.
Yeah, me too.
So does Tom. And then Ray says, Hear About It Later has a live video from 1981. I got to check that out.
That was it. Hear About It Later, Unchained. And So This Is Love. Got a brand new Oakland scarf right here, I said. Ever see that? It's so great. Dave.
All right, let's keep going with Tattoo.
Oh, this is the best part, Corey. I love this. This is classic Ed at the very end. It just
Ed's guitar playing was so ferocious.
Chugging away. Yeah.
Ed's guitar playing was just so ferocious on that album. You know,
that's a great word to describe it.
Yeah, it's the fact that was his last recorded work. I mean, it's such a testament that he went out so strong. Like,
yep, he did. Amazing. Corey, can you back it up a little bit and just play? Because I love that when Ed does that. He just sustains and just...
Anything for you, Eric.
Yeah.
It's one at the end of the bottom.
It goes all the way to the verse.
Uncle Daddy had a cold tattoo.
Still going.
He fought for you.
Still going. And then here.
My shoulder is a number.
That's fucking Ed right there.
That number is forever.
On a geek note, do you know what bridge did he have on his guitar? Is that just a Floyd? It's Floyd Rose, or does he have some kind of weird?
Unless he unless he modified it.
He probably modified it, but it might
probably on a Wolfgang.
Yeah, it might be Floyd Rose originally.
Yeah. Because no guitar should stay in tune after that.
No, he does the thing I talk about a lot, man. I'm a big fan of the dive bombs, and he just
I love his dive bombs.
Opens with the dive bomb, and that right away, your bridge is just by its nature, just bends. And so, there's probably a lot of little guitar tech trickery going on there. And why wouldn't it? It's Eddie.
Yeah, he constructed the guitar that was like just right but it took him a long time. And just feels right, comfortable. Everything is right where it should be. Yeah, he was tinkering with guitars for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I love this comment here from Jazz because he plays the song. He said the lead is so much fun to play. That's the thing. His shit was fun.
Yeah. Word.
When he would play live, how often would he switch out his guitars? Would it be every song or two?
Question.
Oh, no, I don't think every song or two.
No. Might depend on the set, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say it depends on the tour of the set.
Early days, he hardly did it all, didn't he?
No.
Yeah, he usually just played with his Frankenstrat.
Yeah.
I mean, even just thinking, what was? I mean, even if it was like Spanish Fly, he didn't. It wasn't like break out the acoustic on stage. Not much.
I remember seeing
like little guitars that.
Yeah. He had that tiny guitar, right? That he would play for little guitars. I remember seeing. Yeah.
That one. Yep, it's on Us Festival when you look at that, yeah. And the Us Festival eruption, that solo is my favorite of all the live Eddie eruptions. And somebody pointed out on here too that I think he said the live Summer Nights, or he said the live 5150 from Live Without a Net. Both of those are freaking outstanding.
Yeah.
Summer Nights, such a great song.
Oh, and the live version from Live Without a Net.
Bananas, yeah.
When I saw Sammy this year, he played, they didn't play it, but before he came out, they played Summer Nights, over the venue. It was really cool.
Yeah, same.
Very cool.
Yep, yeah.
That got everyone hyped.
Right? Hell yeah, goosebumps, right? Yeah.
Oh my God, I was so excited.
Yeah. What a groove on that.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get back in, Corey, so I'm not too sure.
Okay, swapped out a lot of multiple Frankies, yeah.
Yeah, different tunings, obviously, on those, right?
So before you go in, Corey, I just want to say, because I think where we come in, we're gonna basically, we've missed a verse, and it's basically, musically it's the same, but I was going to throw over to you, Heath. So we were talking earlier, and you mentioned earlier about Sammy was always very earnest in his lyrics, and this next verse that he sings is so different to the rest of the song, and it's like Uncle Danny had a coal tattoo, he fought for the Union, some of us still do. On my shoulder is the number of the chapter he was in. That number is forever, like the struggle here to win. It's almost like a Steve Earle.
I know. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, Keith, because I didn't want to take away from all the Eddie guitar talk after that solo. But yeah, I remember when that came out, and I remember all the internet chatter and stuff like that, the social media chatter. People were saying, "Oh, Dave made this political statement, and it was this. He's pro-union, and he made this political statement." And it's autobiographical. I really don't think it is. I mean, if you listen to Dave, he's a chameleon in his lyrics. He'll. I mean, he didn't walk on mean streets either, but he's got the mean street. He's never been the atomic punk either. I don't think that was autobiographical, but yeah, there's a very much a Steve Earle sort of vibe to that, isn't there?
And it's just at odds with the rest of the lyrics. And I like that. I like that it's so cool that you get this. The song lyrically takes a big left-hand turn, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. That's different,
And just the idea of the coal tattoo. If you think about what a coal tattoo was, that's pretty. He's really done his research into the history of tattoos here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I love the Steve Earle comparison. That's really cool. Good pull, Kevin. Because that is a very Steve Earle-esque verse, isn't it?
Yeah, I got to go back to some of those videos Dave put out on these songs because he broke them down in the lyrics. And I can't recall I think he did comment on that part, and I don't recall if it was autobiographical or just something that he read, because that's a lot of what he would do.
Right, well,
read something, see something,
so we could catch that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uncle Danny had a coal tattoo. He fought for the Union. Some of us still do. On my shoulder is the number of the chapter he was in. That number is forever, like the struggle here to win. Everybody, swap meet Sally, tramp step Jack, mousewife to momshell, in the time it takes to get that new tattoo. Tattoo, 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 sexy dragon, tattoo, tattoo, so very autobiographic. Tattoo, hold on, tattoo, tattoo, but I fell on me. Tattoo, tattoo.
look at me, look at you.
Love that. So good.
Whew. That's a great outro.
Yeah, man.
It really is.
Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
Cool.
So there you have it, Tattoo, the first single off of this album.
The Ric Flair, woo!
Very good call. Very good call. So there you have it. We've done our first song of the evening. So now comes the part where we all get to vote on how we feel about Tattoo. I know it just ended, so there's a lot to process, but I think for the most part, we're all familiar. I know I'm getting more familiar with the song. I haven't heard it since the first time. Scott, this I think might have been your first time hearing this song?
Very first time. I'm more familiar with it now than when we started.
Well, there you go. Well, no pressure whatsoever, but you guys know how this works. Just give old Corey a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and we'll ask you the question, is this what dreams are made of, or is the dream over? Scott, we'll start with you. Does Tattoo, from a different kind of truth, is that what dreams are made of for you, or is it sadly the dream is over?
Well, he's really giving this a
He's thinking.
I'm going to go with thumbs up.
Nice air drumming from Kevin Brown.
Your thoughts on it, Scott?
It was a close call. I hate the chorus of the song. Just vocally, I just hate it. But musically, it's got a good groove to it. I like the riff. I like the simplicity of the backing. Alex is absolutely solid on this song. He doesn't overplay by any means. He's exactly where he needs to be. I think Eddie's playing is really good, especially the soloing at the end, I think kind of saved it for me. So I would say I didn't hate it. I would listen to it again.
All right. Very, very good answer. That's one vote yes. We're going to go on up to Heath McCoy. Heath, is Tattoo what dreams are made of for you?
I don't get the hate. I think it's a great. Actually, I like it more after listening to it in this context. I think it's a really solid song. I just don't get it. Clever lyrics, super catchy. Everybody's playing their ass off. I think it's a great song.
There you are, Kelsey. We throw it to you.
I will say I wasn't a fan of this song like when we first started it, and I'm definitely more of a fan now. I actually can kind of groove out to it. Like I said, Eddie always sounds good to me. But I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about his vocals, and I absolutely hate the way that they produced his vocals on this album. Actually, this one on You and Your Blues, on She's the Woman. I don't know if it's the way that he sounds or the way that they layered it or whatever whatever they put on it, but I don't like the way that it sounds. But that being said, I definitely enjoy the song more now that we're done. Now that we've listened to it together and discussed it. So,
all right. Good call. Eric Senich, how about you? Do I even have to ask?
Hold on, I'm calling my lawyer.
That was dirty pool, man. That was dirty pool.
I know the poor guy's got COVID. I'm sorry, Eric.
I'm running out of gas. I'm
mean as hell.
Oh, man. Yeah, I can't. Listen, it's a great song. I prefer the high energy, in your face kind of Van Halen that we know and love, and especially on this album, Bullet Head and She's the Woman and Chinatown. But having said that, it's a good tune, man. It's got a great groove, and Eddie's doing his thing. And Dave's he's in his zone. He's got some great lyrics on it. Can't complain. Again, I just wouldn't have picked it as a first single. That's all. But good tune.
Well, there we go. 4 for 4 so far. Will the X Factor come from Kevin Brown?
Yeah, my thoughts on that, the song, my thoughts on it haven't changed from sort of what I said before, and it's a fairly average Van Halen, just only because they wrote some fucking superb songs, but it's a fairly average song. What I love about it is the rhythm section. Alex and Wolfie just laid down that big, fat rhythm. It's fantastic. It's a great groove, like Kelsey said. It's a good groove. And then that third verse just gives it a dimension that I don't really usually listen for in a Dave song. So, it's a good song. I enjoy it.
There you go. All right. So, Corey, will you be the one to break the trend, or what say you?
I will echo Scott's comments on the chorus. Definitely not my favorite chorus. It's kind of weird, although I do love the line, mousewife to momshell, in the time it took to get a new tattoo. I really love that line and how it was delivered. But in that third verse, I thought it was really great too. It's the rhythm section that saves it for me. I am missing a little Alex. He's been known as we've been doing the show, Mark. We pointed out a lot. He puts little accents in when Eddie's doing his solo, right? Little thing with the cymbals, maybe a little thing with the hat, just something a little different to kind of stand out. He didn't do that on this track. I was kind of missing that. I agree with Eric totally. It's a good song. Definitely wouldn't have picked this as the first single, though. I'm still, partial to "She's the Woman" as a single. But
I mean, just out of the gate, Dave's back, first album.
Yeah,
Van Halen album that he's on since 1984.
Tattoo. It's like, oh, really?
Oh, it should have been "She's the Woman." I think most people think
"She's a Woman" would have been. Yeah.
Chinatown would have been great. I mean,
Blood and Fire just to
me.
Me.
A song like Big River, he had big energy on. It just wasn't on this track, but definitely
Blood and Fire is about the band, what they went through, and we're back.
And such a good hook too on that song.
Bullethead.
Vote for Bullethead too. There you go.
Great tune.
And then when Kevin ran away,
I was thinking the same thing. As soon as you heard that, Kevin's like,
I ran out of beer. That can't happen.
Nope, can't have it.
All right, so Mark, that's everybody except you. You have yet to vote. You are notorious for being a David Lee Roth hater.
Wow.
Well, that's what the trolls tell us anyway.
I mean, that is what they say.
Each week it just gets worse and worse. You want David Lee Roth dead? And whoa.
Yeah, you got to burn down his house.
I already said he's leaving forever.
All right, Mark, what is your vote? Is this dream over, or is this what dreams are made of?
I actually can understand why this was the single they chose, because there are a lot of, dare I say, Van Halen isms that you can find in this, especially with Roth coming back. I wouldn't say Roth is at the top of his vocal game in this, because no, those days have come and gone. However, he is not the worst. He's certainly not what he sounds like right now. I know that sounds like a jab, but I apologize anyway. Lyrically, I think what he's doing works for the song. So, I mean, there's a line or two in there where I'm kind of laughing a little bit, but that's just all in good fun. But honestly, it fits. It fits with what he's talking about. There's a purpose to the song. The solo, I mean, do I even need to comment on the solo? I know I say the same things over and over again, but what do you want? It's an Eddie Van Halen rip-roaring awesome solo, starting off with a dive bomb. So I'm partial to that. It's going to be a full yes for me on that one. So I agree with you, Corey, though. A little bit lacking in the Alex department. Not to say that he's not doing anything important, but yeah, he's not. I don't hear a particular thing that makes him sort of. We joke about how when Alex and Eddie play, Eddie's going to do his thing, and then Alex, not to be outdone, is going to go, "Oh, that's cool, but check this, keep up." Didn't get a lot of that. Didn't get a lot of back and forth with the two of them on this one. So that was kind of a bummer, but the song still works. And to me, it sounds like a soft introduction or reintroduction for people to, hey, remember Van Halen with David Lee Roth? We're back. We don't want to overwhelm you too much. So listen to this one. Listen to this one just to get you kind of in the mood, and then you can take the full-on journey with maybe some more powerful tunes that are on the album. And then all I have to say is, at least this isn't Honey Baby Sweetie Doll or whatever the hell it's called. So yeah, that's a yes for me. Clean sweep all around.
I had thought about the thing about you said about Alex's drums. Yeah,
me too. You go first.
Sorry.
You go first.
Sorry, man. Yeah, he's just playing like a straight beat, straight groove, pretty much. And I wonder if it's because Wolfgang's there, and Wolfgang steps up. Like Wolfgang's playing heavier and more complicated and everything than usually Michael did, and so you need somebody then to hold it down. Like usually it was Michael that would be holding it down while Alex and Eddie both got to go off, But this time Wolfgang's going off, so Alex needs to keep it more simple, maybe. Like yeah.
I was thinking the same. It's kind of because it doesn't have that big change in the bridge. There's no change of direction, so there's no real room for Alex to come in and syncopate anything or sort of take this weird left turn. So all he has to do is sit behind the beat. That's all he's got to do. It's like Jim Keltner on the End of the Line by Traveling Wilburys. Doesn't play a cymbal through that whole song, but that's what the song needs. And, Mark, Corey, you always talk about that, is serving the song's really important, and Van Halen does that really, really well. So it's just a song where Alex thinks, all I've got to do is keep this groove going. Let Wolfie sit over top of it, and all I've got to do is keep that groove going.
Yeah. Yep. And it works. This is a perfectly fine song, and I personally understand why this might have been chosen as the single, but I will agree around the board. Is it their best on the album? No. But it's a good song. It's a good song. I concede to it. So
it is a good
yay.
song.
Happy surprise for me.
Now, for everybody watching right now, I put the poll up on Twitter. What's your vote on Tattoo? We've already had one vote, and it's This Stream Is Over. So if you like this song, get out there.
Mariano's in the house.
Mariano already, yeah. We got a few votes here for potential first singles, Blood and Fire. That was one was mentioned. She's the Woman. We agree with that one. Yeah, also another one for Blood and Fire. What Dreams Are Made Of, Sexy Dragon Magic is going to be the name of my David Lee Roth tribute band. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Should have called
What Dreams Are Made Of for sure. And discussion always helps. What Dreams Are Made Of. So there you go. Tom was kind of ambivalent on this track going into tonight, and he upvoted it. So, and I see already we got another vote, so we're at 50-50 now. What Dreams Are Made Of, and This Stream Is Over. But Mark, maybe we'll update that on show number 2, which we're going to be recording, any minute now.
Any minute now, yes. You are the producer. You tell me when it is time to do it.
Wrap it up.
Well, for show number 1, we're going to go ahead and come to a close. So I want to thank Heath, McCoy, Kelsey, Eric Senich, Scott Haskins, and Kevin Brown for joining us for show number 1. And if you liked what you heard and you want to stay tuned for what comes next, because there is going to be more, stay tuned for show number 2. But as show number 1 goes, that is it for us. On behalf of Corey and myself, thank you for sticking with us for 1 year, and stay with us for season 2. It's going to get even more, I'm sure, crazy and rockin' as only we can do. We are, and the podcast will rock, and we will rock you later.